I bought Nintendogs
Yes.
Chihuahua. I didn't want Nintendogs Chihuahua, but that's the Nintendogs I got because it was the only one that was left.
Let's go.
Welcome back to 4 Geeks by Geeks, a place for geeks to come and geek out. As always, I'm your host, PK.
I'm your friendly neighborhood Carlos.
You might notice something missing. Our favorite Bozer is currently away doing something amazing with our local community theater. If you're in the Elkhart area, definitely go check them out. But luckily, got an amazing co-host this week, and we're going to talk, this whole week will be kind of themed around video games. Anything from why we love video games, because I think video games has a broad topic, and there's a lot going on in the video game world right now, especially in the world of PC gaming. Video game flops in movies, something to keep an eye out for, and just generally what we'd like to see out of the next generation of video games, because I know PS5 and
PS5's coming out real soon, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's been announced, and Final Fantasy VII is being remastered. So we'll talk. Keep an eye out throughout the week. We'll have the 3 videos as always. But welcome to the very first episode, where we're just going to talk about what's kind of going on in the gaming world and why we're so excited about video games. So, I guess, how old were you when you started playing video games?
I picked up my first Super Nintendo controller around, I want to say like 7.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I'm putting in my time.
What was your very first video game?
Super Mario, and it only worked on channel 3.
Yes.
And after the screen, it would blur out and get staticky, and then I'd have to stop.
I remember Channel 3, and if you don't know what Channel 3 is, you're too young.
For real,
but that's okay.
You'll get there.
Someday you'll have your own Channel 3. It won't be Channel 3, but you'll understand someday. My first video game was, oh goodness, Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo at 3 years old.
3?
3.
What?
I grew up with my grandparents, and they bought a Nintendo very young. They also had the Atari, so I grew up with a controller in my hand. And then I never had a Super Nintendo until recently, but I got a Nintendo 64 for my birthday when I was 6, yes. And so I've been playing video games for a very long time, which I think that's why I'm a little disappointed in where video games are at right now and kind of the state of what it is, because we grew up in an era where solo player games were the big thing. Story was the big thing. And then I think Halo did a really cool thing where they allowed for multiplayer, but still with a good story-driven base.
What game was that? What Halo was that?
Halo 1, 2, and 3 all had online multiplayer,
mm-hmm.
but they also had really good storylines, and you could do the
right.
co-op thing. But I think that set in motion, the Call of Duties of the world really kind of set in motion of instant gratification.
Yes. Absolutely. My first Call of Duty game was World at War. I don't know if anyone still remember. That was where the OG Zombies map came from.
Yes.
Me and my buddy played that for hours on end.
And for me, I love Call of Duty, or to some degree. Not so much anymore.
Not so much the new stuff.
But Zombies was a big part of it.
Yeah.
Zombies was what made Call of Duty, in my opinion.
Absolutely. When they kind of just dropped off that aspect, and I lost interest, and then they went for the futuristic and the battle royale, and
the battle royale is I get it. It's a genre that a lot of people are really into, but it's not my cup of tea.
For sure. I tried Fortnite, I tried Apex, and it wasn't my thing.
Right. No, but you're a huge Spider-Man fan, and we actually just talked about this earlier. You dropped good money.
I dropped good money on that game, when it came out.
But that was important to you, and
absolutely.
But that's a story that's completely single player, story driven. Graphics are amazing unless you get to the boat people.
Until it's like a little Easter egg. They look like the people from the PlayStation 2 one.
Yeah.
It's the heads are like diamond cubes.
Yeah, they're pixel or they're blocky.
It's horrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. People swam out into the middle of the Hudson just to see them.
Cubed head people.
Yeah. But no, I'm sad to see like the state. Like, 'cause I mean, I remember playing like GoldenEye on Nintendo 64, but that was a 4-player. I remember like Pokemon Stadium. I remember like Mario Party. Like I'm not against games that don't necessarily have a story mode and that are made for parties. And like I think online has been great. I just feel like we're starting to lose the aspect of storytelling in video games.
It is. And I was reading kind of some things from Sony, and they were saying that a lot of their upcoming games are going to be single player, like campaign based games. And that kind of made me happy because with everything going on, it's just online, kind of what you were just saying. And
right.
There's nothing to really like grasp you into the game itself other than like.
Right. Like on one hand, I get it. You have the enjoyability of being able to get on and get off at your leisure. You're not like in the middle of a story. And if your mom says pause the game, you're like, I can't, it's online. It's not an option. But
she still doesn't understand that.
No, she's like,
she still doesn't
pause
understand it.
The online.
You're like, then stop the internet. And
but you have to go full on plug that router. Don't do that. Not in the middle. I'm
not in the middle of fork knife.
But I'm very maybe I don't know, nostalgic to the idea of stories, and I miss story modes a lot. And like I think it's cool. Like you said, Sony's doing a really good job. As Sekiro, I think is what it's called. It's
the new like samurai game.
Yeah.
Yes, and I've heard that's very good.
It's made by the people who made Dark Souls, and you know,
really?
there's a beautiful storyline to that supposedly, and it's very difficult. Cuphead is single player. The storyline, it's not like crazy difficult, but things like that. Like I miss challenges. I also think. Oh, good.
Did you ever play the Dead Space trilogy?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Things like that. They were absolutely amazing. The storyline was incredible, and I missed that. I think we should get back to games like that.
That was the first series of games I had ever played that like just continued on, and I remember like I was fairly young, like. It was a scary game at the time, and I just remember being in like my own room. I shut all the lights off. No one was home. I had my headset on to like make it. I did the same thing with Outlast on my PC. Like,
and Outlast is absolutely.
Outlast is a great game.
I think the second one. Weirdly enough, the horror genre has held very true. Minus a couple, like I think it was Friday the 13th made an online.
Yeah, they made it, and then it was Dead by Daylight. They made
So. It's not like it doesn't exist, but like for the most part, like Resident Evil and games like that, they've done a really good job of keeping the horror genre to like a minimum and really keeping that storytelling aspect. Now, I'd also mentioned that there's a lot of controversy on PC gaming. I don't know if you've heard about this at all.
I haven't. I'm not a huge PC gamer.
Gotcha.
I'm a console guy.
So, unlike in console where you can buy online from PlayStation Store or you can buy the copies for PC gamers, a lot of it is online stores. So I'm sure you've heard of Steam.
Yes, I love Steam.
Steam has been not giving. They take a bigger cut from their gaming. So Epic, they've decided, okay, we're gonna start making exclusive games. And actually just bought the rights to Rocket League, which is a really big game. They bought the studio and they said, hey, and so there's a chance that Rocket League goes exclusive on the Epic store.
Wow.
And it's really cool. The guy that runs Epic tweeted out, he's like, hey, if Steam agrees to this number and sets it in stone that they'll never change it for all the producers,
right,
we won't do exclusives. And he's like, I'm willing to say that right now. But it's weird that we're in a place where, you know, indie gaming, there's a lot of cool indie games that are out there. And it sucks because places like Steam are taking some of their money and their creativity. And I feel like the AAA games are just pushing out like the same game with a different title.
Essentially, that's what that is. Like a lot of the like online games, like for Steam and things like that. Again, they're like the same story, just different characters, different like.
Well, and that's that's. I feel bad because we're bashing on video games. We're not even really talking about why we love them, but like right now in the state that it's in, it does. It feels bad. It feels like it's missing something. And maybe that's just maybe it's the nostalgia talking. But I remember playing like Pokemon. Pokemon was beautiful.
I remember when I first got my Nintendo DS. Like the first game I got was Spider-Man: Friend or Foe. Like, and you could just
okay. Like so we talk about Spider-Man a lot on this show. But Spider-Man has also had a lot of video games. Spider-Man on the Nintendo 64 was also on PlayStation and PC. I'm trying to remember who. Somebody covers the entire town in this like deadly fog.
What?
And so you're swinging on like you're on top of roofs, like going through. And that was probably like my favorite video game.
Really?
Yes.
They kind of did something like that with the new Spider-Man.
Do they really?
Yeah. So
That's nice homage.
spoiler. Scorpion, like, they fight and Peter gets poisoned, and so he just kind of has to like swing over this like ocean of poison while giant scorpion tails try to like get at him.
Yeah, like this boxy game right here.
Yes. Did you ever play?
Is beautiful. It was art. I loved it.
Was it Ultimate Spider-Man for the Game Boy, where you could be
Yeah.
Venom and eat people?
Yes.
And then like you just I don't think we've ever been able to play as Venom and do that in another game, have we?
I
Since
think
then,
Ultimate Spider-Man was one of the first times that allow you to be Venom, just Venom, and really take full advantage of what that means. There was that. There was Web of Shadows. There was
don't even get me started on Web of Shadows.
Web of Shadows is beautiful.
Beautiful game.
You want to talk about a game? Spider-Man does this very well. Where you get to pick your own path completely. You can be a villain or a hero.
Black suit rules.
I did it with both, so I beat both versions of the game.
Me too.
But I think it's important to. There's a lot of unlocks to it. But that's what I'm talking about. And I can promise you that at this point in my life, I've invested more time into games like Skyrim and Fallout than I ever have in something like Fortnite or Apex.
Yes.
Overwatch might be the only one that gets close.
You know, I was just about to say, as we were talking about like online things a lot, like, don't you dabble in Overwatch pretty heavily?
Overwatch for me is probably one of the only things where I play online heavily and care about like that. But I think that's one of the games, at least in my humble opinion, minus the very toxic community, where the game is kind of ever changing. And like, even though I'm on the same map, I'll have different team comps, I'll have different players playing with me. I'm never gonna have the same game, and it intrigues me.
Do you feel the same way about like Destiny? Like,
oh, Destiny's another good one, but Destiny has its
ups and downs for
yes.
sure.
And you know, we'll dive more into each of these video games. Like, they'll all get their own episodes. Video games are such a cool topic, and with what's going on in the video game world, I felt, it's best to just talk about all of it right
Might as
now.
well. Just put it all on the table.
But no, Destiny is an awesome where you could do something like that with Crucible or Gambit if you want to do like the PvE, which is...
I haven't played Destiny in a long time,
Oh,
apparently.
no. Yeah, so they have something called Gambit now where you have two groups of...
Oh, I think Nick explained this to me
Yes.
the other day, and he said
And-
he like hustled for
hours
hours
and hours because he wanted to get a gun because they're exclusives to doing it. But you have to kill the different types of species, like the villains or all the baddies, and then they unleash this like Taken at the end, and the first one to get through their wave and beat the big bad guy at the end wins the round. And so you're pitted against two groups,
right?
Or you versus another group. But there's also just a campaign mode where you go and you do raids. It's incredible. But then you also have games like, League of Legends. Huge following. Very toxic.
League of Legends.
League of Legends. That's the one with like all the lanes. Like, you really never... That surprises me.
Maybe
You might just
I'm
be
a little falling
overthinking it.
behind, but I mean...
League is huge.
As of lately, my main obsession video game-wise has been Shadow of Mordor.
Oh, yeah.
It is a amazing game. I highly recommend anyone who has the opportunity to play it does. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, for sure.
Yeah, go and talk about, like, because I feel like I'm talking. I'm sorry. I'm talking.
So, no, you're totally fine. So Shadow of Mordor is one of those things that, like, I kind of... It was a game that I was really interested in. I bought it for Xbox, and it was kind of one of those games I was just in a hurry to play, so I didn't really bother with like all the tutorials. So when I originally bought it for Xbox, I just kind of like was in there, and I had no idea what I was doing, so I put it aside for like 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
And then when I saw that they came out with Shadow of War for the PlayStation, it was the sequel to that.
Yeah.
I ended up purchasing that, and then like I learned the actual game and how to do it.
So you had to go back.
Yeah, and it's like it's basically like an online chessboard. Like, if people can come in and take your fortress, you can go and take theirs and like take their captains and things like that.
Oh my gosh.
You make your own army. Like, if you ever want a game where you want like a huge battle, like this is the way to go. You can have like fire drakes and graugs, they call them.
Yeah. Kind of like Halo Wars.
Kinda. I haven't played Halo Wars in years.
I miss Halo Wars. Halo Wars got crap by a lot of my friends, but Noel, if you're watching this, I remember how much you loved it, and you made me fall in love with it. That was easily one of the, I think, most overlooked games in a while.
Kind of reminded me, I think my dad, I think it was Diablo he played on the...
Oh, Diablo's incredible.
So I think it was, if I remember that game correctly, it was kind of the same thing, right? Like you just had like mini...
You have minis. So the big difference is there's a... you control, like, from a sky view, one person. Where
and
Halo Wars, it's all about resource making. So you have to, like, create soldiers. You have to create resource.
So you're explaining Lego Star Wars 3? You have to create your soldiers, create war machines, and destroy the other player?
Kind of, yeah. Then it all goes out.
Yeah, okay.
That was the other one. The Lego games.
They keep making them.
But they've had their flaws. I'm not saying that, like, they're without their flaws, but I would say the Lego games are like the Batman one, the Star Wars. They had Harry Potter, all incredible. They retell the story, but like in a kind of unique, fun way.
One of my first rage quits was Lego Batman.
Oh no, okay. I played it again. I got the Xbox One Game Pass, and it was on there, so I downloaded it. And then I quit because I was like, okay, what? No, I can't do this. I need to be done.
It's so hard. Like,
I was like, this is a kid's game. Why are you doing this to me? I'm an adult. This shouldn't be hard.
The newer ones that they've made. So like, I have Lego Marvel Superheroes 2.
Okay, yeah.
They make you do so many puzzles. Like, you know those puzzles where like you have someone's face and they have individual squares and they mix them all around?
Oh, you gotta like shuffle them around. Yeah.
So they have those, and like it takes me a decent amount of time to figure those out. And these are meant for children.
Yeah. Well, I hope they're still made for children.
Me too.
They might be aiming.
Maybe I'm just struggling. I don't know.
But no, video games are absolutely amazing, and I think that I don't think there's anybody on this planet anymore that doesn't have some relationship with video games, which I think is such a cool thing. Like,
except for my mom, maybe.
I bet she does. I promise you, she has some kind of.
I doubt that.
The Donkey Kong game.
I could text my mom and she'd tell you no.
You text her
right now. I'll be like, what video games in your lifetime have you played?
No, I think that video games hold such a special place with everybody. And for me, I think it's nice because, like, you know, I know that it's something I can talk to people about and I can bond with somebody. So I guess I want to know, for you, as my beloved guest, what do video games mean to you?
Video games are almost like an escape. Not like in a, I can't handle the real world type way, but more so like, it just kind of lets me zone into like my own thing. I feel like I'm succeeding at something, whether I'm kicking the crap out of a bunch of bad guys in Spider-Man or whether I'm solving puzzles in Lego games. Like, it's something for me to make me feel like I'm accomplishing something, and that, I mean, I take my mind and it just goes somewhere else. And
but it's almost like reading a book. Like,
exactly, you put yourself in that situation, and I mean, it just, when it comes to like specific games again, like Spider-Man, when I'm a huge fan, it's easier to put yourself into those situations, and then I guess it would be like Nintendogs or something like that. By the way, when Nintendogs comes out for the Switch, I'm buying it. No shame.
Nintendogs is incredible. It was the first game I ever owned on my DS.
Was it really?
Yep.
That is amazing.
Okay, fun side story. I got my Nintendo DS on Christmas. Everything was closed. I had no games with it, so I had to wait a whole day without playing games.
Ugh.
The next morning, the second Walmart opened up, we drove over there, and I bought Nintendogs
Yes.
Chihuahua. I didn't want Nintendogs Chihuahua, but that's the Nintendogs I got because that was the only one that was left. I remember it very, very strongly. I had a blue DS. I was super excited. I didn't even pick a Chihuahua when I got it.
Really?
Nope, because I didn't want the Chihuahua one. I got a Husky.
Okay.
I had a Husky puppy.
What was your favorite part of Nintendogs? Mine personally was just giving them a bath.
I liked the
stylus thing.
Yeah, I liked making sure they give him a bath. I liked taking him on a walk and having him like, run into the other dogs and make sure he wasn't violent and mean to the other dogs. I liked training them up. Like, I was like, oh, you gotta learn how to catch a frisbee. You gotta learn how to like run the course.
I forgot these games were like so in depth. RIP to all the dogs that haven't been fed since.
I talked to somebody about that.
Oh
Someone was like, I used to play Nintendogs. I was like, don't take this the wrong way, but all of your dogs are dead.
Right.
And that was the end of the conversation. I walked away.
Did you know this individual?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, I just thought it'd be funny to tell them.
I mean, but he needs to know.
But you got it. Like, you have to think about these things because then I bet that guy went home and he checked on his doggos
and they were
like,
gone.
Well, the thing is, I think you're good. I think it stays.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if the game's shut off.
Yeah. I mean, time still goes by. But if you have an Animal Crossing world, you are no longer with your neighbors. Everybody is gone, and your town is full of weeds.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I know that because I did go back.
I was about to say, did you?
I went back. I opened up my Nintendo DS and I put Animal Crossing Wild World, I think is what it was, and I played it and I was like, uh-oh, everything has gone bad. But
That's awful.
That's gonna be it for why we're passionate about video games. The next few episodes to kind of look forward to is video game movies, successes and flops, and then of course finally our hopes for the future. And stay tuned to the rest of the episodes to see if Carlos's mom has any relationship with video games, just to prove a point.
She still has. I literally said, "Hey, Mom, have you ever played a video game?" I'm trying to prove a point to my friend David, so I'm glad that.
Yeah, yeah. So this is gonna succeed or fail. So
tune in next time.
Until next time, as always, I'm PK,
Friendly neighborhood Carlos,
and you keep geeking out.